Smith?
Bruce Smith, yes,
Yeah.
NFL fame. Well, it's a big night in hockey as well. A lot of SJ games. It's opening night in the Dub. NHL preseason continues with the Battle of Alberta. Chris Lewgood joins us from the Estevan Bruins head coach and general manager, a good and longtime friend of ours. How you doing, Luga?
I'm doing well.
You done making waves yet in the hockey world?
I don't know. We'll see.
Listen, you know what I'm talking about. They got these jerseys right here on the coffee table here. Can you put the camera on that, guys? I had no idea what was coming. Hold that up, Smitty, if you don't mind. It's not just enough that it's white jerseys. Everybody's got a white jersey. But white pants, white socks, white gloves, white helmets. We took a photo of that and put it on the show on Monday. Chris, the last I saw on that video from you guys' account had 140,000 views. I can't imagine what it's at now. Where did this come from?
I don't know. You get the right person having an opinion on it, and people want to voice
No, not
theirs.
that. Where'd you come from the all-white uniforms from?
Just wanted to be different, stand out from the crowd, and we designed our own jerseys and sat with a couple of the guys last year and threw some ideas around, and young guys like them a lot. I like them, and the young guys really like them, and they're pretty excited about it.
How did you keep this from not getting out on social media before opening night in Weyburn on Friday night?
We just didn't show anyone. I think 2 players saw them before they came out of the box in the building, and the guys were aware of them, but they hadn't seen them, and there's no pictures of them or anything floating around, so it was quite the reaction to them.
Well, you've realized too, and Smitty, you know it. I mean, you're a hockey fan too. People just go giddy about the gear as much as about the players as they do with the gear. Mm-hmm. So you probably knew. Did the feedback hasn't been 100% positive either, though, has it?
No, especially the the Facebook and Twitter stuff there's lots of negativity. We knew that was going to happen. They're not geared towards a traditional hockey fan. They're definitely progressive and futuristic almost, and we knew that there would be a lot of people that didn't like them, but we also knew that behind a lot of that negativity, there's a lot of young people that think they're great.
Do you all sell these jerseys?
We don't actually. We have an agreement with the NHL that we can continue using the Boston Bruins logo as long as we don't sell online and that sort of thing. And reason being is different sponsors at the league level and that sort of thing. So we can't use that logo for any sort of sales online.
But what did you say about the Golden Knights, that they've jumped on board in some regard with this?
Well, I just saw an Instagram last night where they I don't know if it was a uniform they're going to use or just something that they're testing the market or what, but they put something out last night that's very similar to our gold one.
Well, what's exciting too, and grab that white jersey, Smitty, and we'll hold up the gold one. So your home opener was Tuesday, and you guys very proudly raised a banner. All of a sudden, the hockey world was, what are they going to bring out on Tuesday? And it was all yellow. You look like a bunch of bees skating around there at Affinity Credit. So show that up. So this is your homes, the golds? Or
those are the homes, you bet.
So this is for all year?
Yeah, we'll have a third set that'll be different than these two, and it'll get mixed in at home and on the road. But
you have a black jersey?
Not yet.
No,
it's coming.
We'll have something dark later in the year that we'll wear for probably about 12 games this year.
All right,
these are beautiful.
They're gorgeous, but it took a while. Yeah. For me to settle in on. Now, you can set it down if you don't mind. Anyway, Dave Hunchak, listening from BC as he always does. You guys remember the old Hunch Bunch. He says, and we'll get to hockey in a minute, but it's just everybody loves the jersey talk. And Hunch says, easy way to count block shots. And that was the first thing I thought. Pucks leave marks, Chris. Yeah. So Dylan's your equipment guy, isn't he?
That's right, yeah.
Is he busy scrubbing puck marks off all these things, the poor guy?
Not yet. No, we didn't block many shots in our first game of the year.
You lose 4-1, right?
No, we lost 2-0. They did an empty netter. We played pretty well. Just we weren't in the shot blocking mode yet, and we'll gain some of that sandpaper as the year goes on.
Well, actually, Donna's watching this morning in Central Butte. She says, "How do you keep the marks off the white? Because clearly you would like to get in front of some pucks. So how are you going to keep these clean?"
I mean, we've been wearing white jerseys for 62 years, so I think the pant shells will probably take a little more wear and tear and show a little more than what they have in the past with black. But I mean, white socks, white jerseys have been going on for a long time.
I say good on you for being bold. I wrote that in my column. And to the actual hockey, by the way, now, because the SJHL has been going for a week. I was at this event last night, and they were talking about the 25-game suspension to Greg Mulhall the other night by the SJHL. I guess that it was the very same night that the Yorkton forward steamrolled the Melville goalie. You must have an opinion on the 25 games and the whole incident itself?
Yeah, I think 25 games, it's on the high end of fair, I think. I think it's heavy-handed, but you don't want that kind of stuff happening, and our league isn't about that, and I don't think the Yorkton Terriers or Mulhall himself are about that. It was a mistake, and there's consequences when you make those sorts of mistakes. And I haven't heard anybody in the Yorkton organization openly critical of the term, but I think they set a precedence that they're not gonna allow that sort of stuff.
It was sending a message. And I've heard all this stuff too about people are saying Yorkton's head coach should have been suspended. That's what the people in hockey are saying. There was 6 or 7 headshots earlier in the game. You can't control what a guy's going to do on the ice, Chris. You've been coaching a long time.
No, you can influence these guys long term, and I know Coach Hare very well. And is he an emotional guy? Does he get caught up in it? Probably. We all do. And at the end of the day, I know he was pretty bent out of shape about what happened, as were obviously the guys on the Melville side. Nobody wants that kind of stuff. And with social media and everything being what it is now, that's the kind of stuff that catches legs. And really, that's not what the league's about. That's not what junior hockey's about.
Did you see the hit, Craig? You know what we're talking about? What do you think about a 25-game suspension?
Well, I heard that's almost half the season, and it probably is a little steep, but. That was ridiculous what that kid did. I just don't understand why a guy would go and do that. But hey, that's the way it is, and I think it was quite a bit.
I was mentioning earlier in the week that my brother's in Pittsburgh on a scouting trip with my niece, his daughter,
Robert Morris.
Robert Morris, she committed.
She did,
to that school, and he said they were talking about it down there and looking at the video.
Is that right, hey?
Yeah, and that hockey's not a lot different than football. It's the same thing, just the border is the difference. And Chris, I think what you said is right. Bill Chow wanted to get out front of this. Yeah, I think it's heavy-handed too. But it was a statement.
Yep.
He did not want the SJHL recognized as that stuff used to happen all the time.
Yeah.
Every weekend. Yeah. And it's not the game anymore, Chris. And I think that I would assume you like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to protect the players. We get to know these guys personally, and it's easy to sit on the other side of the glass and follow it as a hobby, but when you add the human element in, that goaltender's pretty banged up, and you can't have it. You try and avoid it ever happening again by making a point the first time, I think.
I'm actually shocked, and I can't remember the tally here, but he lost a bunch of teeth. X amount of stitches. For what happened, that shocks me. Because I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen a goalie pop up like nothing.
Yeah.
Like something. I must have missed something, Chris. That's harsh.
That's a pretty big collision, and I think the contact was relatively high. You got a goaltender who probably felt it wasn't going to be contacted at all, and wasn't prepared for it.
So I've got a question here from the crowd. It says 3 straight division titles for the Estevan Bruins. And Smitty, Chris has been in charge of the club for that period. What has been the key to that team's sustained success?
I think it's a culture thing. It's a community. We're supported incredibly well. That allows us to pay the bills and get out and seek out good hockey players and good people that are going to work together. And I've had a lot of support in that community, and it's allowed us some continuity, which to have a culture and a plan, you need some continuity, and we're so lucky to have so many good people in our organization that are pulling in the same direction, and everything from our support staff to our office staff, the fans, everybody. It just builds an expectation and a desire to win, and when you have good people inside the locker room, they play hard for each other.
How does it look this year?
We're really young this year. It's a little different looking group. For a few years now, we've had a really skilled offensive forward group. We have very good veteran players up front, but we don't have the natural skill. But we do have tremendous leadership, and we have lots of skill in our youth. So it'll be a little slower start to the season than what we've had maybe in other years, especially offensively. But with that combination of young skill and leadership, I think we're going to be a much better team in a few months than we are right now.
Solid in goal?
Very solid. Yeah, we made a trade for a goalie that we really liked. He was in Prince George with their BCHL championship team last year. He was a backup goalie there to probably the best junior A goalie in the country.
Cool.
And he was ready to go as a starter, and we knew that from tracking him. He played at OHA, Okanagan Hockey Academy, as a midget, and we recruited him. Weren't able to get him. He stayed home in Victoria, ended up in Prince George, and
wow.
It was a coup for us to get him when we did.
Fantastic.
Well, it is, because my guy, Grant Bolt, has gone to junior in the States, and I was a little worried about the Bruins because he was so good. And you're happy with your goaltending, so that's great. But I got to get Smitty out to a game, Chris, before he is full-time back scouting again. Because in Estevan last year, these guys, Smitty, beat Humboldt in a 7-game series, and your rink was jammed.
It was in overtime, wasn't it? That's incredible.
My heart was racing. How was yours? And then, unfortunately, fell to Melford in a 6-game series, right, in the semifinal.
Right.
But I guess that just whet the appetite for this year, I would think. We had enough guys coming back, right?
Yeah, I mean, every year that you don't win your final game, I think the guys, it just sort of builds throughout the summer, and they come pretty hungry.
I would love to go to a game. Like I said before, I saw the Estevan Bruins in the 60s. So to go to a game, that would be incredible. A new building? Like, do you have quite a new building?
This is year 9 in Affinity Place, and it's second to none in the province.
Nice.
There's not Moose Shaw's got a beautiful rink. There's not a nicer rink in Saskatchewan than ours in Estevan. We're very lucky.
Very cool.
It's funny, actually, because I've said many times it's the best arena in Junior A, and I'm very quickly corrected by people that say Penticton's nicer, and then that's it. I think have you been to Penticton? I haven't.
I've never been.
I hear it's unbelievable.
I've driven by my dad lives in Penticton, the 91-year-old, and I've driven by the arena, but I haven't been in.
Willie's Tap House, Tower Restaurant, they don't mind saying they're second best pizza. So if you're second best arena in Canada to Penticton, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Very happily, you betcha.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate to have what we have there, and not just the rink, but we have lots of resources right on site for our guys that most teams don't have.
Yeah, and it's not just an Estevan thing, Smith. I could take you to a lot of arenas and a lot of towns. The SJHL is very, very special. Very clear how I feel about that.
The other one I'd like is the Hounds.
That was just there Sunday. That's easy.
I've known a couple people who have played there, and I'd like to go see that.
Peanut Butter Pete Saragella's watching, by the way. He liked the second best pizza line. And producer Clark mentioning, before I let you go, the showcase coming up next week. Chris, we should tell the hockey fans and the SJ fans how they can get out and watch that.
Yeah, we play our annual league showcase in Warman. We have 2 showcases. One of them is team play, where every team plays 2 games, 1 home game, 1 road game.
Wow.
And we're playing Humboldt and Kindersley Monday and Tuesday. And all the teams will be there. It's out in Warman. I think there's 4 games a day for a few days, and the second showcase again is in January in Regina, but a little different format. It's more of an all-star format, or it's sort of similar to the top prospects game that they have in the CHL, where they play real hockey. It's not a skill fest. They play real hockey because they're trying to show what they have and not just to entertain fans. But the 2 showcases combined for great exposure for our players.
Go to the SJHL website. The entire showcase schedule is there. It is in Warman, and Smitty, the NHL scouts, call it one-stop shopping. They can go to Warman for 4 days and watch every team.
That'd be great.
Under one roof.
We used to go to NFL Europe, and everybody, it was just great, so I can understand that.
Exactly. All right, Loogie, thanks for coming in. Thanks for all you do, and good luck tonight. Safe